In this video, we will see why Google Whisk changes everything about image generation. Let's dive in.
The first thing I'd like to do with you guys today is take a look at the user interface. From the user interface, you can see that you are able to go to the settings, load a template. I really am not sure what this is for. It's not very useful, but it's there. And the next thing is we're going to click here on this arrow. This is where all the fun begins and all the magic happens. Here you are able to add your subjects. You can roll the dice for something that is completely random, or you can upload your image. So you can either upload an existing character or enter the text here for a prompt. And the nice thing about Google Whisk is that you don't really have to write those complex prompts. You can almost write nothing and get exactly what you want. This is where you're going to set up your scene. Again, you can either enter the text, upload an image, or roll the dice to get a random scene, and then you can select your style. Before we begin with any of this, we can also take a look here. You see, this is for image creation. This is for the video creation, and these are your favorites. You can also access your library here by going to all the different projects and all the different images that you've created. We're going to take a look at that a little later in the video. Looking down here at the prompt bar, this is where you can hide the images that you've created here. So if I click, you can remove them, or you can bring this column back. You can roll the dice for a random prompt. You can describe your idea in the most simplistic form, and we're going to take a look at that as well. Then you can select the aspect ratio. Something that drives people crazy is all created for you here in templates that you can simply select mobile landscape, mobile portrait, landscape, portrait, or square. And you can also use precise reference, which is really, really good. And you can see there's the banana image here or icon, and this indicates that this is more than likely using the Nano Banana image modeling to create the images. You can also have a seed, which is very useful if you're creating consistent characters, and you can lock this seed for the generations, which is going to help with consistent characters. So in the most simplistic way, we are going to click here, roll the dice, and then we're going to click here and generate those images. And we're going to wait for, and the nice thing about Google Whisk is that it's also very fast in generating the images. It doesn't really take that long to create some very complex images. Looks like we have a picture of a lady here, and we are going to, for example, take this one here, and we're going to put it in here. And now Google Whisk is analyzing this image to understand what it contains. Let's go ahead and run this again. And we are going to get a new set of images. And now we can have also the same lady here. So we want to do something else here. So I'm going to go ahead and add another character. Well, we have this character here, and now we are going to create a random scene. And now with all these selected, I'm simply going to click here, and with these images, it's going to combine the lady and this character here in this scene. And just look at how powerful the final creation is from Whisk. So it has created the same lady with the same character in the scene, which is very, very cool. Now you can click here for multiple generations and different, but we can now remove, for example, this character, and we can go ahead and click. Again, notice that I am not really prompting for anything. I haven't really written any prompts, but it has created the scenes basically based on what I have provided here. Notice here that it's created kind of like a cinematic composition here, where this is kind of more like an anime, and it uses the style here of the scene because this is not a realistic scene. So it gave me both variations of a kind of a cartoonish look here versus a realistic one here, which is very, very cool. Again, you can go ahead, and this is the seed that's been used, but right now it's not locked, so we'll create multiple seeds. I can lock it, and then to ensure the consistent, if I wanted a consistent character. Okay, we're going to remove all of these images here, and we are going to upload an image from my hard drive. So I'm going to select Susan here, and then I'm going to upload an image again from my hard drive. And let's see here. I want to go to, that's not what I wanted to do. We are going to go to our Gennovate drive, and I'm going to pick the Gennovate office. So I'm going to pick, for example, this image here of the Gennovate office. And what's very important to understand that Google Whisk, when you give it an image, it doesn't really reference the image. It will create a prompt of what it understands about it. So if I click here, you'll see that it has created a prompt of this image. You can add your edits here if you want. So you can change the image here a little bit. I'm going to leave it just exactly as it is. And now I have the image of Susan, and I have the Gennovate lab, or the sofa, the Gennovate office. I'm going to go ahead and click here now, and we're just going to take a look at the results. Now, this is going to be something you'll notice once the images are there, is that Susan is not exactly, the same lady in the picture. There is some resemblance, but you can see here that this is not exactly the image that we have here. It has interpreted the image and placed the lady, which is again not the same lady, in the Gennovate office. It is resemblant of what it is, but it's not exactly what it is, and that is because it interprets the image. You can make this a little bit more consistent by locking in your seeds. So if I, for example, remove Susan now, and I want this image here, so I'm going to go ahead and click here and see how it interprets this scene without the image. We can then use the, it says this, okay, so now you can see that that you have the image here, and this can be the image. You can change it so that it has the same logo. So I need to supply the logo, for example, but now I have this image here of the Gennovate desk, and I can now add this as the scene. So I'm going to remove the original reference image, and I'm going to use this new lab image. And now I'm going to select Susan, and we can come here, I can say precise reference, and then you click here. Now you're going to see that the results are a little bit different because we are using an exact reference of the images in there. We're going to try the example again. Now you can see that Susan looks a lot more like the Susan here, and the lab that you see here is exactly the lab that you see here, but the text isn't exactly right. So here's what we're going to do now. We're going to remove this one. We're going to put back the Gennovate desk, and we're going to run this one more time. Notice the resemblance between Susan in the picture here and Susan in the picture here. Right, let's wait for the final one. All right, now you can see that it has used properly the Gennovate because I'm using an exact reference of the image. So it has reimagined the Gennovate lab with the proper Gennovate logo on the monitor here, with exactly the same sofa, and it has put Susan, which is very similar to our Susan here, in the image. And this looks a lot better than the original result. So it takes a little bit of trial and really understanding of how Google Whisk uses the reference images in order to generate your final output. Now I'm going to show you how to create something completely from scratch. So we're going to click here, we're going to delete. And this is what we're going to do in this example. Let's go ahead and click on a text here. So I'm going to prompt for an Egyptian man. So this is the prompt that we are going to write. As you can see, very minimal, a standing Egyptian man in his 40s. And we're going to click on generate. Now what you'll notice is that it takes a little bit of time here, and then it will generate the image. And let's take a look at the image once it's generated. All right. So if we click here, you can see that this is, he looks definitely like an Egyptian man. It put a, like a scene that basically resembles somewhere probably in Egypt. But this is actually a very good image considering the prompt. A standing Egyptian man in his 40s, and that's it. And you get this image here. Now I'm going to add a scene of a horse's stable somewhere in Cairo. So let's go ahead and do that. And this is the prompt, horse stable in Cairo. And we're just going to go ahead and click generate. And now the scene is being generated. So we don't need this one here. So we'll just wait for this to generate. Now, as you can see here, now we have this stable of it's a stable in Egypt. It's a horse stable in Egypt. You can see the pyramids from the distance there, which is pretty cool. And this is actually a pretty high quality, image considering, again, the prompt. Check this out. Very simple prompt, almost nothing, just a horse stable in Cairo. And it came up with this. This is very impressive, guys. So we're going to now go ahead and select this man, and I'm going to select the stable, and I'm going to run this here. And let's take a look at the results. Again, I have not prompted for anything. I just simply, I think we need to remove this here because it's going to show the man smiling. There you go. So now you can see the man smiling in the same stadium. Let me remove this entire prompt here, and let's run this again. And let's take a look. Very, very cool. Again, you can see that this is the same man. And if I click here, you'll see that I have a precise reference. So it's going to always reference exactly the same man and the same image. Notice how the details are in this image. The same man in the same stable with no prompt. There's absolutely nothing. Now we are going to change this a little bit. And notice I have not specified anything about the man's attire, but it has automatically put in something, appropriate for somebody who's an Egyptian in his 40s. So now I'm going to type in here a prompt. We're going to have the man riding on a horse in the same stable. So we're just going to say the man is riding a horse. All right. So the man is riding a horse, and we're going to go ahead and run that. And we're going to take a look and see what happens with this specific prompt. And now you can see that in this image, it followed exactly the prompt. And this is exactly the same man riding a horse inside of the stable. How cool is that? And again, notice how the prompt, the simplicity of the prompt here, the man is riding a horse. That's all and this is really what Whisk is all about. Whisk is about taking your ideas and imagining them in the most accurate way without having you prompt for very complex and very detailed, prompts. It allows you to really imagine or reimagine your ideas in the most simplistic way. And I think this is what makes Google Whisk very, very powerful. So now that we have this, you have this one here, not really exactly understood correctly, but I want to also show you guys the style here. So I'm going to roll the dice here, and this becomes a sticker. Let's roll it again. And this is like a, call it a, I don't know, strange looking. All right, let's pick this one here. I think we want to see how this looks now with the scene, with the man, and this specific style. So let's go ahead and click generate again. And let's see what we get in terms of the result. This is kind of more of an animation style. So we'll take a look and see what things look like with it. And voila, look at that. This is really impressive, guys. This is more if you want to create like a cartoon movie or a cartoon film. You really don't have to do anything other than now just write your script, go to VO3, put it there, and you're done. Very, very nice image of the same man on the horse in the same stable. And it has now respected the style here. I'm going to go here and I just want to remove the precise reference. And I'm going to click this again and see what we get in this specific iteration. Again, you can see here very, very nice images, and it really, really there. Now, because we are not using the exact reference, you can see that now it's just creating a man in his 40s, and this is completely different. So if you want to use something specific, then you need to have the precise reference there in order to make sure that you get what you want. So I'm going to click this one more time here and show you how this again changes. Again, really, really nice. Of course, it hasn't used the same, it has used the spirit of the image. Now you can see we are back to using the same studio, the same stable, beg your pardon, and the horse and the man and the same wardrobe. Okay, let's go ahead now, and I want to show you something that is very, very powerful as well, which is creating ads in Google Whisk. So if you wanted to create ads, I'm going to go here to my library, and then I want to show you first some of the things that I've created with it. And I want to begin here with this Kit Kat ad that I've created. And it is actually a very, very powerful tool. As you can see here, I have prompted nothing but create the aspect ratio. Obviously, I'll show where I've generated this from, these prompts, and those will be available to you very soon, free of charge. This is a tool that I'm using, which I developed for you guys, and it's going to come very soon. But the nice thing about this is this was created by Google Whisk without any reference image. So this is something that I've just prompted for. This is the exact prompt that gave me this. Then I ran it and I said I want it on a billboard, and it created this exact image here on the billboard. This is another billboard there, and of course you can see the smiley faces, and this is because of the age group I specified in the tool. Then you've got, this example here, this one, and we can go back and I want to show you the rest of them. Then I want to show you, let's see, we take, for example, the KFC family feast. Let me show you this one here. And this is, again, all created with Google Whisk. You can see here KFC family meal. And this is another variation, says KFC family feast. And there is an order now button. Again, a very nice image there showing, an ad for KFC. All right, so how did I create these? I want to show you actually the Gennovate website that I'm working on. And this is actually the tool. There's a tool there that I've created, which will be available to you guys very soon, where I created these ads. And I changed just a few things in order for it to work properly here within Whisk. Let's take a look. All right, so this is a preview of the Gennovate website, and this is a Nano Banana ad creator. The nice thing about this tool that will be available to you guys soon is that you can type in and just select, your preferences. As you can see here, you can put the basic idea, the ad type, target platform, target audience, your technical specifications. You don't need this specifically for Google Whisk, but it is there for a Nano Banana image creation, your style preference, and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and fill in the details, and then we're going to copy the prompt, go over to Google Whisk, and see how it generates very powerful ads. All right, let's examine the ad a little bit here. So I've added a Twix chocolate bar, print ad, print media, 20 to 25-year-old foodies, aspect ratio, of course, and resolution will not matter. But I want a CGI transformation, a photorealistic product shot, and for the design refiners, I want a sophisticated style with natural light, natural color palette, and handwritten typography for the style if needed. I have now the prompt here with the negative prompt. I'm just going to copy the prompt, and we're going to head over to Google Whisk. We're going to add this. I'm going to remove the 16 aspect ratio and 4K resolution because it doesn't really matter. here we're going to say create image of Twix chocolate bar print ad for print media targeting the 20 to 25-year-old foodies and the style that we've selected. Now I'm just going to go ahead here and we're going to see what, all right, so we do have this seed. We do want this in landscape, and we're just going to go ahead and generate. And now we're going to wait for the results and get ready to be impressed with Google Whisk, because it really does create some very high quality. There you go, 2025. Now, this is not exactly what we wanted it. We don't want it to put this as text. So we're going to just remove this here and give it another shot. We're going to remove 20 to 25-year-old, the age group, and we're going to run this again. Sometimes it takes a couple of generations for it to understand what you're trying to do. But this is very powerful. Again, you can see here that this is something that, again, there you go. You have the photo chocolatier transformation. Again, it's taking some words here and thinking. So, for example, the CGI transformation here is what it. So we're just, let's go ahead and run this again and see if we can get it to work in a different way or generate a different image. There you go. So you can have now try chocolate. Again, it's not really understanding some of the words here, but you can see how powerful this is, and you can change this, by the way you like. So, and it uses like the exact Twix bar. I want to also show you the thumbnail that I've created for this video was created with Google Whisk. So let me show you this, and I'll show you the different variations that I've created for the YouTube thumbnail. So you can see that this is the thumbnail that I'm using for this video. And you can see, again, the different variations here. You can see this one here. So these are the different thumbnails that Google Whisk gave me for the ideas that I've selected. A very, very powerful tool, and it really does change everything, in my opinion. Well, folks, this, I think, brings us to the conclusion of this video. I hope that you have found it useful and insightful. If you have any questions, do post them in the comment section below. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.